everybody, and welcome to The Power is Now online radio. My name is Eric Lawrence Frazier. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for finding us on Blog Talk Radio. Today is a beautiful day in Southern California and a great day to talk real estate. And folks, we are well into our series with Mr. Dr. Michael Krein. I'm so glad Michael has taken time out of his busy schedule to share this incredible information with us. And if you've been listening, this is show number 3. And if you missed show number 1 and 2, please go back and check it out. All the shows are on thepowerisnow.com and of course on blogtalkradio.com/The Power Is Now. Now, for those of you who are just joining us, let me just share a little bit about Mr. Krein. He is the president and CEO of RealGenesis. In fact, RealGenesis is an incredible company. Please go to realgenesis.com and learn more about how this company can help you take your business to the next level. And in fact, that's what Michael has been talking about, how to take your business to the next level. This is March Success Month in real estate on The Power Is Now. And let's get started. Thank you again, Michael, for joining us and being a part of this great month, this great series, helping us really to empower real estate professionals to take their business to the next level.
Well, thank you for being here. And, I believe in the show. I love what you're trying to accomplish and the fact that you're actually out there trying to help people. And, that's something I will always participate in. And, I've been friends for a long time and always happy to be here.
Well, Michael, the information you have been sharing so far, especially show 1 and 2, has really been empowering. And folks, if you have listened and you appreciate the information, if you are implementing the information, please reach out to myself, reach out to Michael. Let us know what you think about these series of shows and the great information Michael is sharing. Now, Michael, before we get in our topic today, everything we're talking about is also available at your broker school, right?
Well, a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned if any of you out there try this, and I really hope you do because it actually works, please send me an email. I love getting the emails from some of the brokers I've coached over the years. I get pictures of their new cars, their new houses, buildings they've bought, their kids' college graduations because they've paid for it from the stuff I've taught them.
Right.
That's one of the few things left in my life that really makes my day. So please, if you after you use this, you have a good story with it, please send it along. I just really enjoy reading those. So with that being said, do have a site called freebrokerschool.com. And the motto is everything you always needed to know, but no one else will ever teach you. Because brokers are secretive. We all compete with each other. So I'm a retired broker. I don't compete with anyone. I can share anything I want now. And it was one of the things I always swore I was going to do when I retired. And that was to share all of these things that nobody else would teach, okay? And there's reasons why some of these things don't get taught. And we've covered that in previous shows, but a lot of it is just understanding how things really work.
You're right.
I see a lot of agents that struggle. There's no reason to. I don't really blame agents. I blame the brokers for not teaching them right. And you can't blame the brokers for teaching them right. Well, actually you can, but the fact is a lot of brokers are ignorant. They don't take the time to learn new things. They won't change their ways. And if you've got a broker that won't learn anything new, won't adapt to a market, how on earth are they going to help their agents? And, I would say that's probably the number one problem I see.
Wow. Well, that's a great point. And I think in real estate, and probably every business, you have to be a lifelong learner, right? You have to be willing to adapt to changes in the marketplace. And there's probably nothing out there more dynamic than real estate, right? And the industry of real estate with the constant changes that are, a lot of it has to do with political environment as well as economical environments.
What's interesting about that is the rate of change has increased so much.
Right.
So it's changing even faster and evolving even more so. Part of that's political, part of that's economic. The majority still goes back to technology.
Yes.
And it's one of the reasons I started a technology company was to take all the things that I knew about the business and put it into a system that complemented and actually worked with the way things really are. Because that's one of the things that was missing. And that's why we're doing so well with it. But yeah, it's changing faster and faster every year. And if you do not adapt, you are not going to survive. That's the reality.
The agents who are adapting, the agents who are embracing technology are the agents who are probably doing what we're going to talk about today, and that is how to close, or why every agent can close over 100 transactions per year.
And that's just on buyer sides.
Wow.
The highest top producing agents tend to be listing agents, and it's really just a function of time. It takes 2 hours to write a listing, throw it on MLS, wait for somebody else to sell it. Okay, come on, that's the business model.
Right.
I've met very few very high producing buyer's agents, but I have met a couple, and they've got some really interesting tricks to them. But technology has changed that. The consumer behavior has changed. So any agent can do this if they want to. The problem is, if I just told you how, most people will not do it. I've taught this course a couple times. I primarily teach this course to brokers, not agents, because I want the brokers to go back and teach their agents. It's kind of the point of this.
Sure.
But you have to understand the why. You need the buy-in. So we're going to focus a lot about here today on why this works and why things have changed and why this can be done. And then we'll kind of touch on how to do it. But when you understand the why, the how becomes very easy. And
that's awesome. That's awesome, Michael. In fact, we're going to take this moment to direct everyone to, again, the website, thepowerisnow.com, where you can see the PowerPoint presentation that Michael will be presenting today. For those of you who are listening on Blog Talk Radio, or you're listening to the radio player on thepowerisnow.com, the full PowerPoint presentation for today's show is on thepowerisnow.com. You're listening to the Powers Now online radio. Hang in there with us. We'll be back with more with Dr. Michael Crine.
My name is Eric Frazier, and I'm a mortgage broker. And I have a program that can help you buy a home today. In fact, it's an FHA no-no. That means no money down, no closing costs. You need to call me. If you're serious about buying a home, don't procrastinate, don't wait, call today. These programs do not last forever. Interest rates are going up, housing is going higher. The time to buy is today. Apply to buy now. With Eric Frazier, mortgage broker.
And we're back. For those of you just joining us, welcome to the Power is Now online radio. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. The Power is Now is a great resource for information for anyone looking to buy or sell real estate, or for those of you who are real estate professionals and you're looking to take your business to the next level. Today we have Dr. Michael Crine again on the Power is Now, just sharing invaluable information to help you grow and expand your business. Today we're talking about how to, or not necessarily how to, but how any agent can close 100 transactions per year just on the buyer's side. And so, Michael, wow, that's really not something that's easy to do, but it can be done. What is the average real estate agent doing today?
The average, I've seen a couple different numbers, and it kind of depends who you ask. When they say the average, that's usually between 7 and 8 transactions a year.
Wow.
The reality is you have a lot of top producers who do 100 deals a year. So that kind of skews the average.
Right.
The number that you really need to look at is the mode, and that's the most commonly occurring number. And when you look at that, about 80% of agents do about 4 deals a year.
80%, 4 deals a year.
Yeah, if you're building a brokerage office, you almost have to budget based on that count. I mean, that's how you budget an office, is based on about 4 deals a year, because 80% of agents, it's about what they'll do. You've got a lot of part-time agents out there, and you've got other agents that treat the business like a hobby, and you have some that just plain struggle because they're not getting the help and the support they need, or they're not getting the training or the tools they need.
So the 80-20 rule, or maybe it's the 90-10 rule, is in full effect here, isn't it? About 10% of the agents doing 90% of all the business, who are full-time engaged and embracing some of the ideas and practices and strategies that you've been talking about in this series.
Oh, absolutely. The 80-20 rule has been around forever, but in a lot of markets, it's becoming 90-10.
Yeah.
And you're going to see 10% of the agents controlling 90% of the business. And if you're listening to this right now, you need to decide which side you want to be on. It's kind of like, do you want to be on the train, or do you want to be on the tracks?
Right.
Evolving. Where do you want to be? We could open doors, we could show you paths, but it's really going to come down to what each agent or broker wants to do. And the question isn't, can an agent do 100 transactions a year? Yeah, they can. It's a question of, will they? There's a bit difference between cans and won'ts, you know?
Okay.
Oh, I can't do that, or you won't do that. What's the real issue here?
That's right.
And that's always been the case. And again, a lot of agents, in all fairness, don't want to be those super producers, right? They're in what's known as a financial comfort zone. You know, we used to call them soccer moms or soccer dads. And there's a lot of agents, single parents, that the time they spend with their families is more important than working more hours. So, and a lot of agents are part-time because it allows them to go to the PTA meetings. It allows them to go to their kids' bowl games. A lot of it's a lifestyle choice. So no matter what you do, not every agent is going to become a top producer because it's not about the money. It's about a lifestyle choice. So you have to understand that when you're a broker and you're training and working with your agents, you want to bring them up to their maximum potential, but you have to understand what their potential is not necessarily where they're comfortable, how they want to live their life.
Right.
So can everybody, or can any agent do 100 transactions a year? Yeah, all day long right now. It's gotten a lot easier. Will they? Most won't, because it's a lifestyle choice.
Interesting. Well, you know, I think we could do another show, Michael, on how to select real estate agents who fit in your vision as a broker for your company. Because if your vision is to grow a very large, successful branch or office, then you don't want too many agents who are part-time. You don't want too many agents who are in that comfort zone. You really want agents who are hungry and want to go after and get it and make a lot of money. So that's a show we need to do on how to select, how to determine if this is the right fit for your organization.
All right. How come every time I do a show with you, somehow you manage to talk me into another one before this one? And
I'm sorry.
You're right. It's a whole topic for a whole nother show. But the reality is there's such a limited amount of top producing and high producing agents in any market. There's not enough to go around for every broker.
Right.
So if you're going to go out and try to build a brokerage office by only hiring top producers, you're going to starve to death because there aren't enough to go around for everyone.
Wow.
That's the reality. You have to build a business model for the brokerage that accommodates and where you are profitable hiring average producing agents.
I see.
I've seen more brokers go under for that reason, going, oh, I'm only going to hire top producers. Yeah, right. There aren't enough to go around for everyone, and every other broker's chasing them.
Right.
Figure out how to hire a very large proportion of good or average producing agents and make the business model profitable. And yes, that is a whole nother show. And yes, I'll do that one too, because you do it every time.
Well, we appreciate it, Mike. So let's hop right to it. Creating 100 transactions per year. I know there's some agents that are listening right now saying, okay, Mike, how, what does it take? Let's hop right to it.
All right. Well, let's get into the why first.
Okay.
Because if you don't understand why it works, you won't believe me when I tell you how to do it. And that's just part of teaching, So it'll work for agents who want to be top producers. Agents who are in a comfort zone, it's not going to change their income level. You may increase it a little bit. Okay. Now, this course was originally set up for brokers. But it comes down from a broker's perspective is you have to do things for the agents that they will not do for themselves sometimes. Now, that can be translated to an agent having to do this now. Okay. Also, it requires that the agents understand the fundamental changes in the market, what's been occurring, changes in buyer behavior, and how technology has altered the entire business, including buyer behavior, business models. So the first thing you have to do, if you're an agent, you need to accept the fact that you need to change and forget what you've learned before. What you did yesterday is irrelevant. What we do today is what counts. And if you're a broker, it's your job to teach this to your agents and help them to make that change and that transition. So kind of diving right into it and the why. Okay. The industry's changed. The time requirements. This is really important. The time requirements on a transaction have changed. I'm going to get into the specifics of that. The methodology of how you acquire buyer leads, how you manage buyer leads, how you interact with the buyers, this is all changed. All driven by technology, but technology changes behavior. Okay? 10 years ago, texting would not be your primary form of communication, would it?
That's right.
But it is now, and if you're under 25, that's probably the only way you talk to anybody. Okay? So these are the type of changes. But all of these changes, if the agents and the brokers will just adapt to them, will make you incredibly, incredibly efficient. So I'll go into a couple of the reasons why. If you take an average agent working 40 hours a week, that's 50 hours, and 50 weeks a year, let's give them a 2-week vacation, that's 2,000 hours.
Okay.
If you take the average of 7 to 8 transactions per year, that's 260 plus hours per transaction.
Wow.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Yes.
Okay, which means two things. They're either working very inefficiently or somebody's lying to us that they're really working 40 hours a week.
Oh, this is true.
And you got to remember the surveys. All this is based on survey material, and everybody kind of answers the way they want to answer.
Right.
Okay, but right now, on the things that I'll explain right now, you should not have more than 20 hours per transaction. That's all it should take you. If it's taking you more than 20 hours per transaction, you are missing a lot of pieces of the puzzle and you're not working as efficiently as you could be. Now, there'll always be slight market variations and tweaks and twists depending where you are, but it's a good rule that it can be done. So if you're really going to work 40 hours a week, and I do mean actually going to the office and working, not playing with the computer, talking to the other agents. Okay. I mean, look, all of you are agents, you're in offices, look around.
Right.
How much is actually work and how much is socializing? You know?
You're right.
Okay. I've always been the top producer in every office I've ever worked in. And I can tell you some funny things. I was in one office for about 6 weeks and an agent came by who was in the office next to me. And he finally walks into my office. He says, you know, you've been here almost 2 months and you walk right past my office every day and you don't even say hello or good morning to me. And I go, no, I don't. Well, you're just rude. I said, no, I work for a living.
Wow.
Right? When I'm in this office, I am working. If you want to socialize, you want to invite me out for a beer, I'd be happy to.
Right.
But he just said I was rude because I wouldn't stop and talk to him. No, I am an efficient. Okay. That's problem number one. Eliminate all those distractions. And that's actually half an agent's day is saying hello to everybody. Okay. And he also happened to be the office agent that had the joke of the day and had to run around the office telling everybody. You know, I mean, 3 hours a day we're socializing.
Wow.
The other thing that was kind of funny, especially in that office, is after I was there for a while, people started just getting out of my way. Only because I was running and walking at such a fast pace between things. If they didn't, I'd just bump into them. And I wasn't being rude, and I'm not just an obnoxious New Yorker. I was there to work.
Right,
So
right.
understand that's a lot of it, is are you working or are you socializing in that office? You know, Tom Hopkins said it best, and I think there should be a shrine in every office with a picture of Tom Hopkins, little candles. I mean, the man's a genius. Okay. And he said you should always be doing the most productive thing possible at any given moment.
That's right.
So we
That's
talk
common
about
sense.
it is, but when we talk about working 40 hours a week, it's working 40 hours a week.
Right.
Okay, in 100 transactions, even an average sales price of 200,000 and a 3% commission, 6,000. That's $600,000 a year if you can do 100 deals. Okay.
Wow. Who wouldn't want to do that, Mike? I mean, 600,000 a year.
Well, it comes down to money versus happiness. Some people are happy socializing. Okay. You and I have this conversation all the time because we both had really hardcore Christian upbringings.
Right.
It goes back to why do you go to church?
Right.
You go there for the fellowship and to socialize and maybe a little education. But the fact is you can talk to God from wherever you are.
Right.
You can't tell me he only visits churches. Okay. It's kind of the same thing. So a lot of agents are in an office, and it's very true that if you're a broker, any smart broker knows you drive production by culture. You can't train production. You never could. You drive it by culture. So creating that atmosphere, brokers do encourage it for the retention and the cultural aspects to drive production. But when we talk about doing 100 deals a year on the buyer side, you got to get the time down to 20 hours per transaction and actually work 40 hours a week. So anyone can do it. The question is, will they? But even with that said, say you don't want to get 100 transactions. You're happy with 30 transactions.
Okay.
Still, the same principles will still work. People really do select their own income level by how much effort they want to put in and what trade-offs they want to make. I know a lot of people that work 80-hour weeks, you know, and that's the trade-off they make for the money they want. There's other people who work 20 or 30 hours a week. They may have a lower income, but they have a happier life. So I'm not really going to say one is better than the other.
No, you choose the life you want to live.
Exactly. But all of these things will work. But if you just understand the concepts I'm going to give you, you'll see how very possible this is. First thing we have to talk about is working more efficiently.
Okay.
Now, again, I think Tom Hopkins is a god and a legend in the industry. We talked about building him a shrine, but he was the first one, and so will every other trainer will tell you that as an agent, 80% of your time should be spent prospecting.
Wow. 80.
Okay? 80%. Now, that's always the rule that's always been taught.
Right.
And in a lot of ways, it's correct. But you can do two things. You can spend time or you can spend money. So you can spend time prospecting or you can spend money buying leads or generating leads.
Right.
All right. And the most productive agents actually spend money, not time. I was just talking with one agent the other day. She was talking about doing her taxes. She had $95,000 in write-offs between travel, expenses, marketing, advertising, entertainment.
Wow.
Sounds like a lot of money. They'd spend $95,000. She netted over $440,000.
Okay.
So that goes back to you need to be spending 20% of your income on your own business.
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple of things you have to deal with here. And we talked about spending time or money. You're going to do one or the other. And that's true with any business. A really smart business person versus an average business person. An average business person knows how to save money. A really smart one knows how to spend it. So a lot of agents, a lot of brokers cut back when they shouldn't.
Right.
With that being said, I'm not talking about a lot of money. The example I gave you was an exception because I think 3/4 of that was travel and entertainment expense.
Right.
But if we can get rid of the prospecting using technology instead, very inexpensively, that's 80% of that time. So out of those 260 hours, take 80% of it. Okay. There's 200 hours gone out of a transaction. You should get it down to 20 hours. Now, the other thing is follow-up. And the class or show we really should be doing, I think, is not so much lead generation, because lead generation is easy. It's lead incubation that people aren't understanding. And if you're listening to the show right now, you probably hate internet leads. Every agent I talk to, until they get taught how to use them correctly and how to make money on them, hate internet leads. Internet leads are not bad. They're not junk. They're not garbage. They're just different.
Right.
You can approach them the old school method. You'll blow your brains out if you try, and that's where agents are frustrated. Okay. But incubation is a really big part of that. That can all be done automated now. You can automate your incubation of your leads, which we used to call follow-up. Now, there's another really interesting thing about why we're going to cut this time down. If we can get rid of prospecting, or at least bring it down from 80% to 10%, there's half the battle is won right there. Right? And there's ways to do that. We've talked about that on some of the shows so far, and we've got a few more we're going to teach you about that. If you can eliminate the follow-up time, which is another 10 to 20%, and automate that in an effective manner, again, you've cut your time way down. Our goal is to get your total time investment, getting the lead, following up with the lead, showing them houses, closing the deal down to 20 hours per deal. Doing 100 transactions a year is very easy on a 40-hour work week. Okay. Now, we have to do a little history here to explain this.
Okay.
When I started in this industry, the average buyer would look at 30 to 40 houses before they bought a home. Okay. And those of you who've been in the business long enough, you remember that. There were reasons why. There was no internet. MLS was the secret knowledge. They didn't know which homes were on the market. So a couple of things you had to do, and why they looked at 30 or 40 houses is, first of all, you had to get them realistic about their price. Okay. Because they had champagne tastes and a beer wallet. Okay. So they thought they were going to get this massive house, and you kind of had to keep bringing them into reality on what they could actually afford.
Right.
That was the first 20 houses you had to show just to get them realistic about the market, what they could actually get.
You're absolutely right.
Okay. So that's problem number one. The second one was they were so scared that they were missing something. They were convinced there was a better deal or a better house out there. So you had to show them 30 to 40 houses. Okay. That was over a 2 to 3 month period, wasting all your weekends. The average buyer right now looks at about 8 houses before they buy. That's all they look at. And the reason is they do all their research on the internet. Okay. When you get an internet lead buyer that everybody hates because they don't know how to work them yet, nobody's explained what's actually going on. These people have been searching the internet. They already know the market. Okay. They know the market. They know what they can get for their money. Okay. So Also, because of the internet, they can see every listing there is to see. They're not worried that they're missing out on the best deal because they've already looked at everything. They know what's out there. More importantly, out of 8 of the last 10 buyers I talked to, because I always ask them this question, and I ask them, did you find the house or did your agent find you the house? 8 out of 10 found their own house. Do you understand? The buyer is going to do their own market research. They're going to find their own house. And then you only have to show them 6 to 8 houses, which you can knock off on one Saturday or 2 Saturday mornings. So your showing time has gone from, 8 hours a day over, once a weekend over 3 months down to maybe 1 or 2 times out at all. 6 to 8 houses is what the average buyer looks at before they buy.
Interesting.
Now, that's assuming you got an internet buyer, which most of them are.
Mm-hmm.
There are still people on this planet who don't know how to use the internet, surprising as that seems. Okay? Then you also, the other thing you have to do with buyers is educate them about schools, neighborhoods, where the churches were, all these information. Guess what? They already know that too. Your average buyer today that comes in off the internet lead who's savvy, and the younger they are, the more savvy they are, okay, already knows that neighborhood better than any agent. That's a fact. And the reason is we as agents or brokers, we may have 100 different neighborhoods in our town that we have to deal with.
You're right.
This buyer has already selected 1 or 2 neighborhoods that they want to be in, and they've learned everything there is to about it. They've become a specialist. So be very careful when you're dealing with a buyer nowadays about talking about things that you don't really know about, because I guarantee you they do. And if you make a statement that seems strange to them, they will pick up their phone and Google what you just said right in front of your face.
Wow.
Okay, so they've done their homework. They've done the research. All right, so your average selling time per transaction is now down to about 6 to 8 hours max. All right, they're not looking at 40, 50 houses anymore. They're looking at 6 to 8 and buying one because they've already narrowed down to which one they want to buy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Zillow's convinced them that that's what they should do.
You're right.
Don't you love those Zillow commercials?
I do.
They're telling them how to do it, and they should do it.
That's
and
right.
Hundreds of millions of dollars marketing this stuff. And we as agents try to go old school and fight what they're being told and taught.
Makes no
sense. Not going to work.
No.
So understand that. So again, you can get your showing time down to about 6 to 8 hours. You can get your lead generation and follow-up down to a couple of hours because you can automate all of it now. Now, if you've got a good transaction management platform and good paperless system, e-sigs, compliance, your vendors are tied in, and you're running a good office software system, or you as a broker providing one for your agents, your entire processing time should be down under 10 hours per transaction all day long. When I started in this business, faxes didn't really exist. They were those old spinny ones.
Right.
So we had to go run and present every offer in person. That was a couple hours. Then you had to run back to go meet the buyers at their house to get signatures, come back to the office. 30 hours of that transaction was driving time, getting counters signed, delivering offers, documents to the title of the escrow company. That's all gone now. So the total processing time should be about 10 hours into a transaction. And if you're out there doing 100 transactions, and by the way, you can get rid of that too, by the way. You can easily turn this into 4 deals, okay, to 200 deals a year instead. If you're bringing in and doing 100 transactions, even at an average sales price of $200,000, that's $600,000 a year gross. All right, yeah, you got to pay your broker his cut. Brokerages are like render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. We know the deal. That's just life. Okay. But if you've got that kind of cash, can you not pay an assistant $1,000 a week? And for $50,000 a year, you can get a damn good assistant.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can get rid of that 10 hours processing time. So you can actually do twice this.
Right.
The trick is understanding internet lead generation and understanding that the leads aren't garbage. They just have to be worked differently over a longer time frame. And that's part of the how to do this we can get into.
Right.
It's the incubation follow-up. That buyer is going to choose their own home and they're going to find it. Your job is not, as an agent right now, is not to find a buyer a home. Matter of fact, if I was a broker and I was still running an office and I see an agent playing on the computer and I go, what are you doing? Oh, I'm looking for a house for my buyer. I would smack them upside their head so hard it's not funny. Okay?
You might lose that agent after that.
Yeah, but if they don't understand this, who would want them? I wouldn't want them.
Right.
Because the market has shifted. Now, in all fairness, there are times when you do have to find a listing for a buyer, but 80% of all buyers will find their own house if you let them and you stay out of their way.
Right.
And work with them. Your goal to get this buyer to buy a home is not to get them to buy a home. It is to get them to buy the home through you.
Right.
You're a service provider now.
That's right.
Okay. You have to convince the buyer, and that's part of your lead generation strategy. It's part of your follow-up and incubation, is that you're there to help them get the home that they want. We all talk about how many houses we've sold. Not one of us has ever sold a house.
You're right.
We haven't. The buyer decided they wanted that house. You cannot hard sell a house. Nobody ever could.
No.
Okay. I would swear that half the transactions are done between, and the way the buyer got the deal is he just happened to be there when they found the right house.
You're right.
Standing in the right place at the right time. That's half the transactions. It still is. What you want to do is convince these people that you are the one to help them get the house that they've already found or when they find it. So you stay in touch with them, you provide them with the tools to find their own home, and then you help them with the technical parts because buyers don't know title insurance. They don't know how financing really works. Though you're a technical expert now, and that's what you need to focus on. And if you convince a buyer of that, you're golden. And I mean, if we want to go off on a tangent here, I'll give you the best buyer close and opening to a buyer you will ever hear.
Oh, let's hear it.
Okay. I'm off the top of my head here, so I'm not scripted.
Okay.
Eric, I'm really glad you called. I just want to let you understand how I work as a broker, and bear with me because this may sound a little strange to you.
Okay.
Honestly, Eric, I don't care what you buy.
Really?
I don't. The fact of the matter is, I get paid about the same amount of money no matter which house you buy. That's reality. What I'm more concerned with is you getting the right home for you.
Okay.
That's what's important. Okay. We can look for the best deals. We can do all that, but this is going to be your home. Okay. This is where you are going to have the best and worst moments of your entire life. This is where your kids are going to take their first steps. This is going to be the place you get the phone call when one of your family members has died. It's the place you're going to have the best times with your wife, and these are the times you're going to have the biggest fights. You may be on the couch one night. It's a home. You have to be happy in it. Okay? So I'm not here to tell you how to be happy because I don't live your life. I'm here to help you get the house that's going to make you happy. And I'm not going to interfere unless I think you're doing something really kind of stupid and it's a problem or there's something wrong. I'll mention it, but I'm not interfering in your decision. I'm here to manage the process for you. You're going to pick out the house you want. I'm going to help you get it.
Wow. Man, that's a very straightforward, pitch, if you will. It's not really a pitch. It's like setting the expectation for the client.
It is, because most buyers are afraid that they're going to be pressured into a sale. We're all scared of it. How many people do you know that won't go buy their own car?
You're right.
They're terrified of being pressured by salespeople.
You're right.
That eliminates that completely, and we've set the expectation for what we're going to do here. My job is to help you get what's going to make you happy.
Man, Michael, let me ask you, in your experience, do you prefer being a buyer's agent over a listing agent, or is it about equal?
As far as enjoyment, I liked being a buyer's agent, and I always liked working with buyers. You meet some really fun people.
Right.
And had a great time. From a financial standpoint, being a high volume listing agent is more profitable based on the hours you have to put in.
I see. Yeah.
So from a money standpoint, I like listings better, but for an enjoyment part of the business, yeah, working with buyers was always more fun. Got you out of the office. You got to drive around, take them to lunch. And I met a lot of fun people. And to this day, I still have friends. I sold them a house 10, 12 years ago, which is probably about the last time I actually showed a house. Okay.
You mentioned earlier that, no real estate professional has ever sold a house. And when I think about that, you're absolutely right. Buyers do choose. I think the only real estate industry that does selling is timeshares.
Oh, that's brutal. And yeah, that's a hard sale.
That's a hard sell. But you're being sold a timeshare for sure.
Oh, absolutely. But you understand, you can't hard sell a house.
Right.
There's too many chances to back out. There's
right.
contingencies for the inspection.
Right.
I mean, half the battle sometimes is you have to reclose the buyer constantly through the transaction because they get cold feet.
You're right.
Buyer's remorse before they own it. I mean, that's part of the transactional process.
Right.
But if you found them the right house and they weren't pressured to begin with, you're really good. I mean, one of the biggest mistakes agents make when they show houses, because we're on buyer's agents, is they don't know when to shut up. Okay? Let the people choose their own home. And if you've ever sold a house to a couple, and I guarantee you all of your listeners have, you all know there's one thing that has to occur before they'll make an offer. And that's the magic conversation. That's when the husband and wife need to talk amongst themselves before they tell you what their decision is. Because neither one of them will make the decision to make an offer until they've conferred with the other one.
That's right.
Okay? If I went and bought a house without consulting my wife first, although I have done that with commercial buildings.
Okay.
Yeah, I walked in and showed her a building, and she goes, I go, do you like it? And she goes, I don't know, I guess it's okay. Why? I said, because I kind of just bought it. I need you to wire the money. But would I do it with a house? No, I want to sleep at night, and I want to sleep in my own bed.
Right, exactly.
Okay? But it's that magic conversation that has to occur. So sometimes a husband and wife especially will say to the agent, hey, can you give us a few minutes to talk? Well, the smartest thing you can do, and this would be part of the other closes, is every time I show a house, I'd say, look, guys, as I said before, this is your home. All right? And you can even do this humorously, because I have. It depends on the couple, how far you can go. But I said, this is going to be your home. I'm going to go walk over there. I want you two to talk about this amongst yourself in private and decide if this is for you or not. I'm okay either way. Let them have the conversation.
Right.
Because I can guarantee you every agent has shown a house and the husband and wife have said, can you give us a minute to talk, please?
Right, right.
And that's when they definitely super want the house. Give them that conversation. Okay? And I've kidded with them. I said, you know, guys, this is going to be your home. I don't know if it works for you. You need to talk about it. You have to figure out where the sex swing will go. I mean, you can say some crazy stuff and get away with it.
Right, exactly.
But remembering that magic conversation will get you more deals than anything else.
Right.
Your own house out. You have to make sure that you're the one they call. And that was part of the open and close I gave you before.
Michael, this is great stuff. And I tell you, you're saying so many profound things. And I think that real estate agents who are listening right now, who are buyer's agents, this is truly an opportunity to kind of check yourself and see, you know, how am I communicating with buyers? What am I saying? What vibe am I giving? Am I pressuring them? You know, am I allowing them, am I empowering them with the tools and the technology to assist them in their search on their own? Folks, you're listening to the Power Is Now online radio, and we're with Dr. Michael Krein, and he is dropping some serious knowledge, like he always does, right here on the Power Is Now. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to finish up this great segment on creating 100 transactions per year. Any agent can close 100 transactions per year, and that's just on the buyer's side. We'll be right back right after this commercial break.
I don't really remember the first time I dreamed about owning my own home. Do you? Take a second and think about your oldest memory, walking through a house and being able to call it your own. Your favorite music playing in the background, your family and loved ones around you, and you're all celebrating. The American dream lives on. The Power Is Now Buyers Club. Not having enough money is no longer an excuse. Saving up and waiting is no longer an option. We have access to lenders who are willing to give you a leg up when others are not. Though it may seem like it, not every lender is the same. The power is now, and it's yours to buy. We'd like to be there for you. Find us at thepowerisnow.com and own your home today.
And we're back. For those of you just joining us, welcome again to the Power Is Now online radio. My name is Eric Lawrence Frazier, and we are in conversation with Dr. Michael Krein. And folks, he's been really making some great points on how to be an efficient, productive, and successful real estate buyer's agent. And, you know, a lot of agents, Michael, want to be listing agents. And that's a very profitable role to play in the real estate transaction, but it's difficult to get to that level. right? To having the right relationships, building your farm. It takes time. But the pool of people who are interested in buying a home right now is pretty large. And if someone can get the skills and learn the lingo and understand the mindset of the buyer today and have the technology and the platform like Real Genesis, they can be very successful and make a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely. Kind of takes us off topic or where I was going to wrap up. Here's the problem. You know, only 1 out of 3 people makes it in the real estate industry.
And
1
out of 3. Wow.
Isn't that horrible? And there's no reason for it. And again, I don't really blame the agents. I blame the brokers for not training them right. With that being said, there's some people this is just not for them. Okay. To be a good agent, you have to have strong time management skills. You have to have a lot of willpower, a lot of self-determination. And it's kind of like sticking to a diet. How many people you know that are constantly dieting because they can't stick to a diet? If you can't stick to a diet, real estate is kind of like, and being successful is kind of like sticking to a diet. It's not for everyone and it's hard. It just is. So, but with that being said, I'd say half the failures come about. And you brought up listings, which is kind of interesting. So I guess we'll go there first. Again, with a buyer, the buyer is finding their own home. You're just there to help them get it.
Right.
Listing is an art form. It requires a lot of experience, a lot of confidence, and a lot of knowledge to get somebody, a seller, to trust you with what is probably the most valuable asset in their lives or that they own. All right. The reason I bring it up that way is, yes, family friends listings you can probably get. If you want an agent to succeed, especially if you're a newer agent, start them on buyer sales first. Because even if they get a listing, the listing may not sell. It may not sell for months. Most agents get out of the business because they run out of money after 6 months. You can get them a couple buyer sales up in the first couple of weeks. They've got some money coming in. They're making a living. They'll stick around long enough and be able to stay in the business long enough to become good listing agents. So always start new or failing agents on buyer controlled sales. Get them some quick dollars, okay, so they can pay their bills. So if they can't pay their bills, they're out of the business anyway, and they'll never learn to be a listing agent. That's the reality there.
Wow. That's a tough reality, but it's the truth, right?
It really is. So what I really want to cover and kind of wrap this up is it's kind of like, I don't know, like Star Wars, you know?
Okay.
Oh, I can't do that. And he shows him, he said, I didn't believe it. Well, that's why you failed. If you don't believe you can do this, you've already failed.
That's right.
So I need the agents and the brokers and everyone listening to this to understand that, yes, you can do it. It is possible. Because if you believe it's possible, then you can achieve it. If you don't believe this is possible, you've already failed. So that's why I wanted to talk about the whys. We're going to go to the hows, I think, in the next episode.
Right.
I just want to recap this.
Okay.
You take that average 260 hours per transaction and bring it down to 20. That's by automating your lead generation, automating your incubation and your follow-up. The buyers are going to find their own home for you. Your job is to make sure when they find the right home, they call you to help them get it.
Right.
That's your role. When you understand that, life gets real easy and you have very little time invested because this is all about time. So we need to train our agents to embrace technology and understand the new buyer behavior and quit fighting it, but use it instead. Don't ever force that which you can finesse. When we talk about what we teach our kids, that's the first thing they learn.
Right.
Never force that which you can finesse. So embrace the technology, the changes in buyer behavior, and adapt to it. Okay. And if you can eliminate the agent's need to prospect or at least automate it for them, there's 80% of where their time normally was in the past. Again, this technology, you may have to spend a little money. There's some free ways to do it we can talk about. The incubation piece is the most important. We're going to talk about that in the next episode. And I know 90% of the agents and brokers listening to me right now think internet leads are garbage. I'm telling you, they're not. You just don't understand them yet, or nobody's shown you how to work them correctly and turn them into nice qualified buyers. And by the way, they're the best buyers because these are the ones that will go find their own house. And
you're right.
Research. You just have to write it up for them if you set it up right. So they're actually, in some ways, they're the best buyers. You just have to understand the time cycles are different, the behavior is different. And then teach the agents to stay out of the buyer's decision process. Because they have the buyers have so much information and so much research they can do on their own, your job is not you got to stay out of the decision process. They've already done their research and made the decision. Stay out of that process. If they have a question and they ask, then you answer it. Or if there's something that they're doing that's incredibly dumb, like buying a house next to a nuclear power plant, say, hey guys, I just want to let you know about this. Okay, but that's part of your initial opening to the buyer. I don't care what to buy. I'm not going to tell you what to buy unless I see something really wrong or I think you're going to do something really stupid. I'm going to point it out to you and let you make your own decision. That's my job, is to look out for you. Okay, but again, teach the agents that your role is not so much it's definitely not finding the house. It's not selling the house. They're going to choose which house they want to buy. You're a transaction manager, you're an order taker, you're their counselor, you're their support system for the house that they want.
And you're also their advocate because you are representing.
Correct. And that's the other thing. If you give me a lowball offer, I'm going to say, all right, Eric, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to put my boxing gloves on, I'm going to fight as hard as I can for you. That's my job.
That's right.
Okay, we'll see how we end up, but you're paying me to fight for you, so let's go. That's another thing. I've seen more agents lose more deals because they tell the buyer, say the buyer wants to make a lowball offer, and a lot of agents won't write them. Biggest mistake I've ever seen in my life. All agents do it. No, I'll insult the seller.
Right.
Who cares?
Who cares?
I don't
work for the seller.
Well, even if I do work for, regardless, doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay, because if there's no deal, I'm not getting paid anyway. And if they're not paying me, they're not my customer or client as far as I'm concerned. Okay, you follow?
You're right.
I've hung up on buyers before. If you get somebody so obnoxious and such a pain, tell them to screw off and hang up on them. They're not, what did you lose? They weren't going to buy anything from you anyway.
Right.
So you don't have to be nice to anybody who's not going to buy from you. That's my rule. Okay? You don't have to be nice to everyone. You only have to be nice and professional with the people who are actually going to pay you.
That's right.
If you're not paying me, I don't work for you. And I don't have to kiss your ass.
Right.
That's simple.
Right.
And when you start empowering yourself that way, you will be amazed at how much more successful you become and the time you stop wasting. Okay, but let's talk about that. Writing lowball offers. If more than 70% of your offers are getting accepted, you're not writing enough offers. You're not. Those top producing agents, maybe 1 out of the 3 offers gets accepted.
Wow. Michael, you got to say that again. You're saying if more than 70% of the offers you're writing are being accepted, you're not writing enough offers.
Yeah, what's happening is you're only taking the lay down and the easy ones and not the ones you have to put a little work into.
Right.
Which is silly. And this comes down to like when a buyer wants to make a lowball offer. And we can talk about this a little bit, but let me explain what typically happens. They want to make a lowball offer. The agent says, oh, no, the seller will never take it. I don't want to write that. Let's find another house, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you how many times I've seen a seller take a lowball offer because you don't know how desperate their situation is until you try. That's A. So if you write 10 offers and you only get 4 accepted, you got 4 deals. But if you only write 2 offers and both of them get accepted, you only have 2 deals. You missed the other 2. You will also be amazed, getting a buyer to come up in price is not the problem. That's the easiest thing in the world. It's getting them to commit to make that first offer and sign their name on that purchase contract. Once you get them past that point, negotiating is easy, and there's 100 closes you can use to bring a buyer up. All right? I mean, there's some really easy stuff you can do in there. But if all your offers are getting accepted, you're missing a lot of deals. And it's one of the things I always track with my agents. Well, how many offers did you write? All right, write 2 offers. I got them both accepted. Get in here. We need to talk. Because that means you didn't write the other offers, that a lot of which could have been accepted had you tried. And when a buyer makes an offer on a property, and you could talk to anybody who's bought a house, I'm willing to bet you did this when you bought a house. When you made that offer on that house, even if it was low, you and your wife got in your car to drive back home. And while you were in the car, you were talking about where you were going to place the furniture. And your wife was telling you what colors you were going to paint it. Is that the conversation you had?
Absolutely.
Everybody does. Well, by the time they get home, they've already moved themselves into that house. When you call them up and tell them that, sorry, your offer didn't get accepted, you just took that all away from them. What do you think is going to happen next? Oh, do we have to come up a little? Yeah, maybe a little. Let me try again. Okay. hard part is not bringing them up. Where most buyer's agents don't make deals is they don't write enough offers. And it's usually because the buyer wants to lowball it.
Right.
Okay, and I don't want to work with a buyer who lowballs. I got news for you. That buyer's going to get a house sometime, somewhere from somebody. It just won't be you.
You're right.
Okay, I mean, there's so many things we can talk about on this. And we're kind of off topic. The point is, between generating the lead, incubating the lead, showing the house, processing the transaction with the right technology and the right systems, and we're going to talk to how to do that in the next episode, you can get it down to 20 hours a transaction. Even if you only want to work part-time 20 hours a week, that's still 50 deals a year and a nice living.
That's a very nice living. You're absolutely right, Mike.
It can be done. Just got to change the way you think, change the way you look at the world, and adapt a couple of different strategies. And we'll go into detail on that in the next episode.
Wow. You're absolutely right, Michael. And what a simple plan. And what I like in the information you've shared so far is that, number one, it's so straightforward. It's so simple. It goes back to the very beginning of our discussion, and that is why. If an agent can create 100 transactions a year as a buyer's agent, why aren't they doing it? And when it's so easy, really, as you've laid it out, it's just a matter of having a desire, believing they can do it, because the technology is available, the resources are available, the mindset through mentoring is available. I mean, it's all there, and you're available if they're serious about doing it, right?
Oh, absolutely. I probably take 3 to 5 calls a day, either for my Rio users or for my NRBA members. Mike, how do I do this? And that's what I'm there for, and I like doing it. One of the things I really love about the position I'm in now, and I kind of liked it when I had all the franchises too, and especially with the franchises, because A, I made some really decent money with them. So I like money. I'm very big on that, by the way. Okay? And that's the only reason I get up in the morning. Okay. But I love the fact when they call me up with a problem, all I had to do was spend 5 minutes to tell them how to solve it. I didn't actually have to go do it.
Right.
So from my position here, yeah, it's really easy for me to say, this is how you do it. The hard part is actually going to do it. And you're right. Part of that is belief.
Right.
You have to believe you can do this, and you have to believe it can be done. And if you don't believe it can be done, you've already failed. Then you have to be willing to change. And then you have to be willing to maybe go a little outside of your comfort zone and do things that you weren't used to doing before. And just reevaluate your business. And again, we talked about feeding children. Your business is a child. You know, it's going to need some sustenance. You may have to invest a few dollars or a few hours in it sometime.
That's right.
But that's what it takes to be successful. But the fact is, right now, there's not, and we talked about this, you have to want to do this.
Right.
Okay. If you're happy making 50, 60 grand a year and that's enough to pay your bills, you can go spend more time with your kids. That's a lifestyle choice.
That's right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. If the point is, you got to be happy. And am I going to say that money buys happiness? Yeah, for the most part, it does. Okay. They say you can't buy happiness. That's very wrong. I don't believe in that.
I knew you were going to say that.
No, it can't. Well, the fact of the matter is, and I've seen this so many times with struggling agents, okay, if you're struggling to pay your bills, you're stressed out, your wife's yelling at you or your husband, whichever the case may be, you can't buy the right sneakers for your kids, you can't take a vacation. Yeah, life sucks. Money solves all of those problems real fast, okay? And the funny thing is, when you're not stressed out and you're making money and life is good, you can pay your bills, you can do nice things, you'll actually sell even more houses and make even more money because you're in the right frame of mind. I've never met a salesperson who can function when they're stressed out. Okay. And that goes back to why is every agent not a 100 transaction a year agent? Well, a lot of them are not in the right mental state of mind. They could be going through a divorce. They could have health problems. Okay. They could just be stressed out from their kids. And if you let that get to you, you kind of get useless in this business. That's why agents peak and valley so much in their production. And a lot of times it's personal issues. And you as a broker have to call them and say, look, what can I do to help? What's going on?
Right.
Okay. And sometimes you can't help. You know, what do you tell a woman who says, I just found out my husband's cheating on me?
Right.
You know, I mean, I've had that happen, and not even once, but more than once.
Right.
Okay. And I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. I've also seen those same women become incredible producers because now they had to support their families and their kids on their own because the husband left or she kicked them out.
Right.
Out of spite, they're going to prove they could be successful to their ex. Okay? I mean, that's just part of being a broker. It could be 1,000 items like that. But people's and agents' production will go up and down depending on their state of mind and their personal situation at the time and what is more important to them.
Michael, well, you're really...
I'm off topic, but whatever.
No, you're right on topic, man. You're right on topic because you're talking about the motivation to succeed, making a decision as to the lifestyle that you want. You know, whatever your situation might be right now, for those who are listening, 9 times out of 10, I would say it is a choice. It's not that you're a victim, but you have chosen this path because of decisions you've made to do or not to do something. Would you agree with that, Michael?
To a very large extent. I mean, there are certain incidents in people's lives where they do become paralyzed. And that could be illness, that could be death of a loved one. I mean, it does paralyze people, but those are temporary situations.
Yes, they are.
You know, a good friend of mine always used to say, and I kind of like the expression, you know, tough times don't last, tough people do.
That's right. That's right.
It doesn't matter. You can't let it get to you. It's kind of like climbing a wall. As you go through life, you have these little walls you're going to run into. And it doesn't matter. Some people don't have any. They sail right through life. Everything works. Other people run into 10-story towers they got to climb over.
That's right.
It doesn't matter. You still got to get over the damn wall.
That's right. No matter what.
That's what it is. You got to make yourself do things you're uncomfortable doing sometimes. The nice thing about this is, and we'll lay it out more in the next episode, we talk about how to do this.
Right.
It's actually pretty easy. And once you adapt this, you're going to find it's actually a lot less stressful and a lot easier. I mean, isn't it great to have a group of buyers out there looking for their own home who call you up and say, hey, Eric, we found one. Can we go look at this one? We think this is it. And my next question would be, you got your checkbook? Don't forget your checkbook. All right, let's go.
That's right.
Okay, let's go. So that's really what this is about. And technology and the changes in buyers' behavior have allowed this. So if you function and start utilizing the strategy, I mean, it's an agent's dream. Everybody complains about these online auction sites and the buyers can look at stuff on Zillow by themselves now. Why fight it? Use it. I love the concept because whatever system is in place, there's always a way to exploit it. And there's always a way to take advantage of it. And if this is the way the market has changed, then we all need to change and adapt to it. I see it as a very positive thing.
Embrace change. Go with the flow. Absolutely. Michael, any final comments? This has been a great presentation. And for those of you who are listening, you can see the PowerPoint on thepowerisnow.com. Any final comments, Mike, before we just share a little bit more about this next show coming up? I'm really excited about it because it's the how-to of what we've been talking about in this show. It is.
Not only will the PowerPoint and video be up on your website, but I have a full version of this in a seminar series on freebrokerschool.com. And that's where I put up all the stuff that I always swore I was going to teach to everybody once I retired. And the motto there, again, is everything you always want to know, but no one else will ever teach you. So there's a full version of this up there as well at freebrokerschool.com and a bunch of other videos. Right now I'm working on a magic tips and tricks thing. I think I got like 100 2-minute segments laid out already. Just silly things that'll get you a deal here and there or smoke another agent off a deal, whatever you got to do. You know, the goal is to play. I like to play to win. You know that. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about how to do this, and that's understanding the lead generation sources, the time frames, the incubation periods, how to automate all of that, and basically put systems in place very inexpensively where you literally have dozens of buyers at any given moment looking for their own home and calling you when they found the home they want to buy, because that's your goal nowadays. And it's not even that hard. You can set it up in a couple hours. Dr. Michael Crine. Man, this has been awesome. Folks, I don't know about you, but I feel like I have the best seat in the house getting this incredible knowledge from Dr. Michael Crine, president of Real Genesis. Please go to realgenesis.com. Check out the incredible platform that you're going to need. You're absolutely going to need if you're going to embrace all the strategies and tactics that Michael has talked about, and especially on the next show where we're going to be talking about lead generation and the internet. If you want to move up to the 21st century, you want to get empowered, embrace change, leverage all the opportunities on the internet, you need to listen to the next show right here
on The Power Is Now. This is show number 3 of the March Real Estate Success Month. That's what we're having on The Power Is Now, Real Estate Success Month for the entire month of March and part of April. Michael Krein and Real Genesis has partnered with The Power Is Now to bring this information to real estate professionals, and it's been fantastic so far. So please grab the link and let everybody know in your office about this information that's being shared. Tune in every week in March and listen to the entire series. Reach out to Michael Krein. He is available to talk with you and to help you take your business to the next level. Remember, the power is now. We are at our best and we maximize our success when we act now. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Dr. Krein, for another great show.
Thanks, Eric. At the rate you're going, keep talking me into additional shows. We're probably going to end up in June sometime by the time we finish the series.
No problem. You know, my platform is your platform. Me talking to
All right.
All right.
Next show.
Thank you, Michael. Folks, please tune in on thepowerisnow.com.